much linked with enhancing your performance levels, and another could show you that bigger picture. A mentor shows you the bigger picture, who will help you getting into your potential to achieve something bigger.
Can I add a piece to that? Because I've got a really good example for you. So in one of the organizations I worked with a number of years ago, I was part of creating their succession planning strategy since they have a leadership crisis coming up. And we created a program where high potentials moved into a program and they had a period of development. I was one of the coaches for them. So it was a bit of a tag team approach. They would do some assessments, find out what training they needed, find out what skills they need to develop, figure out, and sometimes through conversation with me, so where is it that I want to go and where am I now and what do I need to do to fill that gap? As their coach, I both helped them think that through clearly, devise their strategies, and pursue what they needed to. They would go to a mentor to get specific knowledge, wisdom, expertise. So they might pick a senior leader as their mentor and meet with them regularly to learn about that part of the organization or that way of doing things. And then they come back to me, because one of the advantages of coaching, whether it's done by a coach or by manager coach, is taking all of the different learning experiences, whether it's 2 days of training or it's meetings or it's on the job, and helping to integrate that learning so it sticks. Is that concrete enough an example? Okay, great.
The next question is addressed to Mr. Rajesh Sehgal. I was particularly impressed by the InfoTouch program. What I wanted to know was, while implementing, I'm sure there would have been a very elaborate plan with lots of plan A's, B's and C's. What were the challenges faced? Those main 2-3 challenges faced, and how did you overcome those?
Interesting question. Challenges are first at the stage of devising it, and then at the stage of getting the buy-in. First of the leadership team, then of the next layer, and then of employees overall. So you need to have a focused strategy on getting a buy-in of, for me, the leadership team, the directors, and the CSM, the chairman staff, meeting staff. The next, the strategic layer, the vice president. So I had sessions with them, had their buy-in, had a teammate which was cross-functional. So I had, for each of these areas in InfoTouch, I had a list of things. We formed a team which was cross-functional to discuss it out and say, what do you want to keep, what do you want to drop, any ideas, what new things we can do, does this make sense? Then get the buy-in in the next layer, and then the communication across. So
I have a question.
This lady has been, please. You have been raising your hand. Yeah, please.
I have a question for Sultana. Sultana, thank you so much for the insightful presentation. Just one part when it comes to coaching senior leadership. While it is really effective and a lot of corporates do that, but what are some of the practical challenges? When I handled it as part of profile, practically doing it, what are 2 or 3 issues that you need to take care of so that it goes ahead? Simply because lack of time is one of the practical challenges which will come in the name of effective coaching or meeting them depth of the coaching skill. So how do we counter that, and what are some of the things that we really need to take care of?
Okay, I need to clarify your question. I'm going to stand up only because I don't want to hide behind the podium. So your question is if you're trying to teach senior leaders the coaching skills?
Correct.
And the strategies for that?
Yes.
So I would say that what some organizations have done has been to bring in a pilot program to give them coaching skills, train them, and then to track the impact before and after. The thing that I think is ultimately the key is practice. And so, again, I think there are lots of ways to go about skilling people. The way that we go about it is a 2-day program in class that's done with follow-up coaching. Because the thing that happens with a 2-day program of any kind is people have a great time, they learn some great stuff, they leave the room and they go, wow, that's 2 days of my life I'll never get back. And so it is the follow-up coaching in that process where the leaders are supported to practice the skills with each other, where it's safe. They learn together, practice it with each other, and with the coach who they did the 2-day training with to help, again, practice and embed the skills. Because there's no getting around that when we learn a new skill, there is that awkward time investment and that awkward learning phase. We don't go from not doing something to doing something instantly, perfectly competently. And if they're already senior leaders, I am betting that they have strengths and abilities and a capacity for powerful conversations that they're leveraging. So they're not starting from zero. So I think the 2 to 3 points you were asking for is about first asking them the coaching questions. What will make their life easier? What value do they see in learning the new skills, and what's it worth to them to see those benefits?
So you think practicing new skills, coaching, asking them questions on what
Can I suggest one thing? Do some questions, please, because I must tell you, I've got a note from the organizers. They say need to conclude the session in next 5 minutes. Otherwise, none of us are going to get lunch. That's bad. So,
See, that was a powerful motivator.
I have a question for Rajesh. I'm here. I have a couple of questions actually. You said that one of the, sorry, let me introduce myself. My name is Sangeeta Singh and I'm a life coach. You said that to keep employees engaged, it's very important to find out whether they believe in the organization. I want to ask you, what is it that you do so that employees do believe in the organization? And I'm not saying just with the brand. I'm saying, what is it when they come in? How can they be ensured that yes, it's a company that we can believe in?
So we had a full exercise there. It was on defining the vision, mission, values, and then cascading them down. And when new employees now come in, okay, that's part of the induction, etc. But for the existing employees, for a year and a half, right through the depression, we continued doing that intervention. We covered all our 7,000 employees globally in half-day sessions where we took them on what is the vision, what is the long-term vision of the organization, how do we plan to achieve it, what are the strategies we are following. And then we did our business. So we said, what are the strategies we are going to follow across the verticals to achieve it. So if you're saying weekly 1 million, what are we going to be doing? What is it that it means to you as an employee? What does it mean for you, your growth? And what does it mean for us? What are our expectations from you? So that kind of engaging sessions you need to have, which can be workshops, which start with workshops, communicate it, but then you use more of board where you interact more and you capture their perceptions and then you share it back saying this is what came, this is what we are working on, this is what, so it's an ongoing journey.
Okay, but is it effective? Because inductions aren't. They don't remember anything.
Effectiveness is on how you do it. It's just like the program I was giving you an example of. You could call some Vedna awards, call 3 ladies at claps and give them a trophy and close it. Or you could think a little bit more and make it that more engaging for everybody. Right? So it's your passion.
Okay, I have one more question, sir.
The lunch, your way to
No. I have to speak my piece. You were talking about that in big organizations, HR personnel and resources cannot be accessible to everyone, right? So managers have to be that HR connect. In fact, Shoshana articulated the same question very, very well, where she said that if that is true, if managers are the HR connects, then what are you doing to ensure that they are empowered enough? To be the kind of coaches and managers and supervisors, leaders, guides to their teams, so that they can be like that.
So that has 2 aspects. One is the aspect at the policy or procedural level. The other aspect is of what are you doing to coach them in, or how are you enabling them to do it.
Right.
So one is the enablement part, the other is the measure part. We do both. The enablement part is when you help them undergo sessions to understand what is their role as a manager, how are they expected to coach people, how are they expected to have the discussions. Even for leaders like us, we have workshops on dialoguing skills. Because we thought, if you say communication skills, everybody says we know how to communicate, we actually do your sessions. So we said dialoguing with your own team members, how do you need to dialogue? And that's different from just communicating and code. And that's one aspect. The other aspect I said was measuring it. Measuring it by your questionnaire, which measures your average score is what you get. That's what your team does say. And then it affects you in your growth.
last question.
And the last point actually I wanted to make was, if you spoke about communication, that you think that the organization is communicating a lot, but actually individually people come back and give you the feedback that there's not enough communication. Because when people are engaged, and this is in my 18 years of professional experience, when people are engaged, and whether they're at water coolers or canteens, their communication becomes more effective because they are engaged employees, they're discussing problems, they're discussing solutions, they're talking about, what organizations do. And honestly, I've been part of IBM and EXL. The activities that you spoke about are done in most of the organizations. We also do things like buddy system. Of course, what was
I'm sorry, I'll have to intervene because we can't get into discussion because that will become yet another session and that's not fair. But I must do the justice to you. Is that okay? Bye. Sure, please.
Good afternoon, my name is Kash. I represent Environmental Infrastructure and Services. We recently moved to a new premises which is Gopaldas Bhavan. And the line which really strikes all of us within the organization is the line which came from our managing director. It says that if it is to be, it is up to be. So, why don't we actually get into the ownership model and own up the organization rather than getting, using all these, models to get engaged and things like that. It is our organization. We have to work for it. So, why should somebody come and make us feel engaged and things like that? Can't we remain self-made?
I think
just a thought. Just a thought.
It's the point is very well taken. As I see every organization, please be safe. Every organization, you will have three kinds of people. Actively engaged. They are actively engaged irrespective of their designation, irrespective of the desk that they get to work at, irrespective of the salary and title. So long as they are working, they are totally, completely, heart and soul engaged. Then you are passively engaged. These guys are engaged. Or Sharu Ranganekar used to call them worth ethics. They will do as much, as less as possible. But they will do something for the day. And then there are the last category which we must be really scared of is actively disengaged. They really create an infection in the organization. And actively disengaged, a character passes on the infection to another guy and to another guy. All the organizations that the HR guys have to carefully ensure is the organization has less and less and less number of actively disengaged and obviously higher and higher number of actively engaged. I think we had enough on the engagement. Thank you very much for your active participation.
I would like to thank the panel. Then Mr. Vijay Deshpande. And Mr. Rajesh Sehgal.
Okay.
And by that time we will also continue what I'll be setting the cross by
Thank you very much. I'm positive. Well, I've been here.
not